G'day. What we're doing here is we're going to quickly import our files from Illustrator as an Illustrator file into After Effects. And just a quick layout, up in the top left we have our project file. This is where all our files will go. The composition in the middle is the video, the visual components that you see. Along the bottom we have our timeline, and on the bottom left will be the layers that are on our timeline, which we then will have effects and play around with later on. So to import your footage, you go File, Import, File, select and browse for your footage and go Import. And that's we wanted to import it as a composition. And we're just waiting for that to import. And what's important, while my computer's not responding, what's really important is that we've already set it up in Illustrator as that 1080 by 720 file. So when it comes across to After Effects, it will remember that aspect ratio of the width to the height, which means you're not going to have any letterboxing on the left and the right or top and bottom. So now that that's in, we have our composition, which if we double click on it, it's going to bring all these layers from your Illustrator file up into your composition and have them on the timeline. Now, none of mine are visible because it's even remembered that I hid all those other files. Now it's letting it think and remember to show. It can see and select all those files. You may find that your layer has slightly changed, but what's really important is that if you can see here, I've clearly labeled, at least in my head, to make it easy for me, I've clearly labeled all of my different layers. Do that first in Illustrator because that will transfer across. If you forget in Illustrator, you can of course come in and I double click to show the focus on that, but you can, I'll go back to composition. You can of course rename, right click, rename and name them, but that won't go back to Illustrator and change that original file. So if you're constantly referring to different files, make sure you do the work at the start and then we can move on. So the next video, I'm going to show you how we can start animating.